I'm facing off against a conceited wolf leader who thought his strength was unmatched. But I made him kneel before me. 20 for unbelievable. I laugh angrily as each step makes noise when my feet sink into the piled-up snow on the concrete floor. My hot breath forms a clouds in the icy air. I tighten my long furry coat around myself for comfort. I can't feel the cold through my thick skin. The length of my coat falls into the snow and leaves a mark in it as I walk in the blizzard, the wind making a mess of my hair around my shoulders. To my agent extraordinaire, Madeleine Nilben, heartfelt thanks for your unfailing patience, enthusiasm. Out of his mind, I stop in front of a tree obstructing my path. I need to get around it. To my agent extraordinaire, Madeleine Nilben, heartfelt thanks for your unfailing patience, enthusiasm. No, why should I? I kick lazily at the bottom of the trunk with my foot and proudly watch it crumble, breaking the silence surrounding me with a loud crash. And he dared imply that this was my fault. I spat as I walk over it, leaving white footprints behind. I can see the lights of a small town further ahead and I already hear the laughter of its inhabitants. I successfully reached the depths of the freezing Siberia in a day's trip. You mean you fled? Of course not. This is extremely important work. Avoiding everything won't solve your problems. I'm not avoiding anything. I just needed some fresh air. You can't get more nature than this. I mean, we are literally in the middle of nowhere in a forest of Siberia, surrounded by snow and tall trees during a storm. I call it paradise. Then let me out, until we get to the village, or better yet, until the next entry. I don't mind. I shrug. Seriously, sure. There's nobody around here, and even if there was someone, you just have to kill them. Are you feeling all right, Murder City? Great. Well then, in that case I think this is an excellent idea for me to be in charge right now. I close my eyes and take a deep breath, filling my lungs to the brim with the cold air. As I focus on the darkness inside my mind, concentrating on the sliver of warm yellow light, I feel my bones breaking one after the other, my arms and legs stretching and twisting to weird angles, my nose and mouth elongating into a snout, my ears sharpening and the fur covering my entire body. The sensation is warm and familiar, no longer painful. I turn too many times to feel anything anymore. When I open my eyes again, I am a full wolf with sparkling yellow fur shining in the middle of the night and a bright red in my eyes. Let's see how you like me nagging in your ears all the time. I smirk as my wolf ignores me, running around, analyzing all the scents around us. My wolf stretches its legs more and more, swallowing the distance to her first target. You're making too much noise. It stops abruptly to listen to the wind and try to catch the sound of a smaller animal. I hear it at the same time as it does. I bet it's a rabbit. Or maybe a mouse. The beast doesn't wait to lunge in the air, catching the tiny squirrel in surprise. Its claws and fangs make fast work of the kill. May it's small, not that hard to catch. I thought you could do better than that. Will you shut it, see how it feels? I'm not that unbearable. S-U-U-U. Even though I stop arguing and draw back into my mind, forgetting everything and just fading away as if taking a deep long nap. My consciousness disappears and I feel at peace in the nothingness. Enthusiasm in the darkness. P.E. hope. Hope what finally I've been calling you out for hours. Why didn't you answer? What is it? Where were you? Nowhere. You know you can't do that. What if you never came back? Well, you would have free reins. That's not funny. My wolf growls. You're really difficult to please, you know that. I'm ready to go back inside now. I don't want to. Why, I'm fine here. Nonsense, people need you. You have to finish what you started. And if I don't be a child. I'm tired of being the one to always give the answers. Let them fight. Kill each other. I'm done. You don't mean that. Yes, I do. I've done more than enough already. What about Nate then? He can go to hell. What if he dies because you didn't come back to help him? Then he's weak. Look, I know what he said was bad and he hurt you. I also know you don't want to talk about it and you try to mask it with your anger, but I'm in your head. In your soul. I know when you're in pain. I'm fine. He doesn't feel the bond because of the curse. Not because you're not his mate. That's what you think. That's what I know. You might pretend not to remember the curse and maybe you have forgotten some parts of it. But you can't pretend like you don't feel the connection the both of you share. You have to trust your instincts, to acknowledge the weight you feel in your chest, the pull that connects you two. That's the bond and you know it. He wants nothing to do with me. He's a prick. If I'm cursed to be alone anyway, it would be better for me if I didn't go back. What about Jordan, Leela, even that idiot Beta? And all the people we know? They'll be fine. They are strong. And you'll be okay with never knowing what happened to them. I guess so. Why the hell am I the one playing your good conscience here? You're right. You're more of a little devil than the angel. Then get a grip on yourself, woman. And don't standing in the snow. I don't have the time to answer before I'm standing in my 2 feet. Completely without clothes in the middle of the forest. Where did we leave my clothes? I ask to no one in particular. Don't remember, it's been 2 days. I look around and see the devastated area, the trees laying on the ground. The burn marks here and there. The claw marks on the trunks and ground and the small animal corpses scattered around. Someone had fun. I'm a wolf. Don't expect me to act like anything else. Did you at least howl to the wind like in the movies? When my wolf doesn't answer, I know that it didn't. I can't help smirking. Don't stand around like that. You'll freeze to death. I start walking again, focusing on the sounds and trying to find my abandoned clothes, but after 30 minutes of failing, I decide to look for people instead. I'll just steal some of their clothes. I find a cabin near a small lake. There is no light nor movement inside. I quietly force the wooden door and look around for anything to wear. I find a shirt on the floor but don't pick it up. There is a jacket on a chair. I ignore it too. I thought you said anything. My wolf mocks me. I am not wearing dirty clothes and I don't really have the time to do the laundry right now. Especially when this house doesn't have electricity. I won't go to the nearest lake to wash them. My snooping leads me to the closet and after rummaging through it I find nice skinny jeans and a white top. My attention quickly drifts to the warm black furry cape on the last handle on the left. Now this is perfect. Reminds me of the royal capes you used to wear. To my agent extraordinaire, Madeleine Noble, heartfelt thanks for your unfailing patience, enthusiasm. I'm the Queen of the North. I don't wait to put it on. I also steal a pair of thick boots that go perfectly with it before walking to the door. Won't you leave some bucks or something to apologize? It looks better on me anyway. I don't need to see it to know my wolf is rolling its eyes at me. I find my way back in the direction of the town I meant to go to 2 days earlier. It's still filled with laughter. I put the hood up to hide my face. No need for everyone to notice the stranger in their street. A few people bounce my way, but their attention doesn't linger on me for too long, so I keep walking and finally reach the one and only bar of the village. It's an old wooden house threatening to fall apart any second, and it seems to stay upright only because it's frozen in place. There are 4 people inside, counting the bartender. An old man wiping a dirty glass with a suspiciously dark rug. I order a beer and after paying and retrieving my pint march to the booth in the far right corner where a man is drinking alone with his hood up just like mine. We probably look more suspicious that way, but neither of us intends to take it down anyway. Mogis Malabiki Mami Go Baro. I grit him in Georgian, his native language, and smile as he jumps in his seat, his head shooting up to look at me. Hope he laughs with a big smile playing on his mouth. How are you, Ralph? I inquire, looking him once over to see if he sports any injuries. As a dwarf he is a very skilled and smart hunter, but going against angry grizzlies isn't the safest job even when you're granted a thicker skin and fast reflexes. He has long dark hair falling to his shoulders and a crooked nose broke, and during the fight. His eyes are an icy blue that can freeze your body to stone if you look at them for too long. At least that's what the legend tells us. As strong as ever. Good to hear. What brings you here? So far north I was nearby and thought I'd come say hello. Is that so? Moscow, France, actually. Right, because close means France. It's on the same continent. I shrug. Close enough, he grins. You alone today, he asks, looking around. Yes. Leela had to stay back. We have let's call it a situation. I'm not well informed these days. News usually don't reach so far north. That's why I keep telling you to lose yourself in the middle of Africa instead. At least you would have a warm weather and there are other dangerous beasts to hunt other than bears. You know me. I like to know the land. I have a few more contracts to finish, but once that's over I might come see you in America. How's that? Perfect, I'll show you around New York. So, what is the situation? Well, an alpha I know is gathering people to fight against an unknown menace. That's not specific at all. He mocks me. Let's just say that a threat has risen and to defend themselves the wolf decided to form a coalition with other creatures. That's definitely new. You'll probably hear more about it if they reach the dwarf population. And with all of that you had the time to come grit me, he asks dubious. That elf I was talking about is being an idiot and I decided to come here and not kill him on the spot. Wise decision. So unlike you though. I'm trying to be better. I laugh, taking a sip of my beer. So when are you going back? Do I have to? I ask reluctantly. No, you could always stay here and help me with my next target. I know you don't need my help. Why don't you want to go back? Honestly, yes. He nods. You're not one to avoid a fight. Because it's too tiring. They expect me to do so many things and they are never satisfied with what I give. And Nate is getting on my nerves. Nate, Ralph inquires. The alpha in charge of the coalition. I explain. Let me guess. An old geezer with predetermined ideas on the supernatural world, no. A 24-year-old brat. Seriously, Ed, and he's leading this army up. And he never stepped 1 foot out of his territory. Again, he's the one in charge of this army. Yes, he didn't even believe there were creatures other than werewolves. Man, you have no chance to win. So you see what I have to deal with. They really need your help then. But what if I don't want to help? They are screwed. I'm not the only member of this team. I grumble. What did he do to make you so mad? He had the nerve to say to my face that he wanted in my pants. That's not the first time this happens to you. Ralph laughs. True, but he had the audacity to expect me to say yes because he's an alpha. See that ugly? I groan. Then what's the problem? The problem is that this entire situation is too complicated. I was just there for a race and now I am neck deep in a war I never asked for. The struggles of the powerful to any responsibilities. I agree. Would you be fine with someone else taking your place? I don't know. I would finally be left alone, that's for sure. But they aren't smart enough for that. They would lose. Glad to see your ego is still as big as ever. You're the one who asked. But that means you don't have any other choice. You have to go back. I wanted to go talk to the polar bears next. I'll take care of that. I need to go see them anyway. I still don't understand how they tolerate you when you kill their kin. You should know by now that grizzlies and bears can't stand each other. They are almost thankful to me for taking care of it. Sure, or they are biding their time until they can finally kill you. Don't jinx me. He groans and I smile innocently. Well, then I guess I need to thank you for your help. Jen A.T.S. Vel, Ralph says proudly. I will always be there for you. I'm always ready to fight to help you. You know that, right? I know. And I would do the same. I nod. Now let us eat. I'm starving. We spend the rest of the night talking about his last hunts while eating a soyanka soup and a GS's and finally a kuliche and dessert. We also take the time to play poker with the few people present in the bar and leave quickly when they understand we cheated the entire time of the party. I leave him in the woods with a big smile on my lips and make the trip back to France on foot. Dreading to be back. Maybe if I take my time everything will be over and I'll be able to go back to my life. A life filled with races, poker and a lot of food. Heaven. 25. I am standing in front of the house. On the other side of the road. To where Agent Extraordinaire Marianne Nilben. Heartfelt thanks for your unfailing patience, enthusiasm. I have been standing in front of the house, on the other side of the road for 3 hours. Make that 4. From time to time I have tried to take a step, but I end up in the exact same spot every time. I tried going through the garden. Didn't make it to the fence. I tried jumping directly to the 2nd floor. Fell face first on the concrete. I even tried to simply walk to the door. Broke your arm trying to reach the knob. I still don't understand how you managed that. Let's just say something is bothering me. Let's talk about the elephant in the room. Mammoth would be more accurate. Let's talk about the sun in the room. I start to roll my eyes. It's big enough to express the extent of your problem, though. Remind me, when is it that I get rid of you? You can't. That's the beauty of it. Stuck with me for eternity. I can't help looking up to the sky, to the fading sun behind the clouds, pleading, what did I ever do to deserve this? I don't understand what's making you so wary. Yes. I think, dear me, we'll still be here next week. Real mature. To my agent extraordinaire, Maylin Nilbe, heartfelt thanks for your unfailing patience, enthusiasm. I look at my feet, feeling stressed out more than ever. I've decided to not care anymore. I'm tired of not being able to do anything the way I want. When have you ever done anything against your will? You know what I mean. I can't show who I am. I can't have fun in case I destroy the planet. Such a hard life. Yes, it's difficult. And not fun. And boring. All right. Then what are you going to do differently that I won't hold back? Which means, since I'm depressed when I ignore him, and I feel like I can't spend too much time without him, I'm going to go all out. I don't care if I'm not Nate's mate. He's mine. And even if it turns out he's not, I'll still try to make him fall in love with me. To make him lose his mind for good. Oh my God, yes, you're finally doing something smart. I can't wait to see that. What's first, Zek? And what are you waiting for? When do you start? I haven't thought that far yet. Get without clothes. This always works. I'm trying to keep some dignity here. I'll still be here in 100 years. I can't destroy my legacy. Then we'll see. As I watch the front of the house, I see Leela get out, with a warm cup of tea in her hands. I wait patiently while she crosses the street to come meet me, a gentle smile on her face. Time to get in, sweetie. The sun is setting down. You can't stay outside like that, she says calmly, sipping on her mug. If people who can't stay out during the day are called children of the moon, what am I supposed to be? I ponder out loud. I mean, this is ridiculous. I can't go skinny, dipping at midnight like everybody else. I can't watch a meteor shower or the equinox. But more importantly, I can't pretend to be a werewolf who transforms to the full moon. I wouldn't mind the burns to see that she doesn't reply to my rant. So what did you do for a week? She asks, curious. I wasn't gone that long. I mumble. You've been gone for 8 days. Your friend came by twice. Seemed to be worried you fled. Are you talking about Pierre? I inquire, and she nods in answer. We had to convince him to stay a little longer. They can't afford to refuse to help us. Still, the boys were getting fidgety. It reminded them they are not the ones in control. I shrug. What made you leave? Leela asks without pushing for an answer. Nate didn't tell you. We found him passed out on the floor when we came back with the biggest black eye I've ever seen. But he didn't say anything. He's been in a full mood since then, though. He's the one in the wrong. But you won't tell me what he did. I've already forgotten what it was about. Sure, you have forgotten. She faked, shuddering. I'm afraid to see what payback will look like. I won't do anything. I roll my eyes. That's not what we agreed on, my wolf exclaims, baffled. You mean you'll let it slide? She furrows her brows. Something like that. Just let me know when you decide to not do anything so that I can leave the country beforehand. I feel my skin prickle under the first rays of the moon. Let's get inside before I light up like a big giant torch. Nice coat, by the way. Right eye beams looking the fabric up and down. Sliding my hand along the fur lovingly. I found it in a house. Of course you did. She smirks, knowing my tendencies to steal anything I fancy. She tried to bring me to Seat here once. It's Towns for Compulsive Thieves Anonymous. I don't even know how she managed to find it. But it didn't work. Actually, it made things worse because it didn't make me think differently, and the other members seemed convinced by my point of view. Stealing is good for your health because you get to wear things you like whenever you want, and it's also good for your budget because it's free by the end of the meeting. That week news related an increase of 50% in the city's robberies. Of course, I gave of my own time by robbing the jewellery and distributing my earnings to the poor like a true Robin would. I just kept an necklace I noticed through the windows and a magnificent ring with diamonds. I haven't stepped 3 feet inside the house before they are all surrounding us impatiently. Sorry, I'm late. I joke, and one alpha in particular doesn't look my way. We thought something went wrong when we didn't hear from you. Xavier starts without preamble. I needed to go see a friend of mine in Siberia. I justify myself defensively. On foot. Of course not. She couldn't make it this far that fast. Noriko contradicts him. Yes, I'm that fast. And I even took my time. Cheeky little fox. To my agent extraordinaire, Madeleine Noble. Heartfelt thanks for your unfailing Clichut's enthusiasm. In a good day, I could have gone and been back in 3 days. Then how he wonders. I took a flight. I lie. And did you do what you needed? Nate makes himself heard, finally acknowledging our little group. I smile sweetly at him. Everything's worked out perfectly. My friend is going to help us rally the tribes over there. Great. He grits his teeth. I actually have to go back to New Orleans earlier than planned. Something came up, and since my father is in California, the pack needs me there. Xavier interjects. I wish I could have helped more. Don't worry. Once we talk to the mayor people, we'll be on our way back to. Then I'll see you in California when I can. He nods. I'll go finish packing up my things. He leaves and the room falls quiet. Isn't there anyone else we could contact? Noriko inquires. Apparently she hoped to keep on traveling for a little while longer. For now, that's all we can do. We need to form a battle plan and train everyone once we go back. It'll need time. An army would be useless without a plan. I guess. She shrugs. Just so you know, I'll ask for your ideas. We'll see how good of a leader you can be. I taunt her and her eyes shine in defiance. To my agent extraordinaire, Madeleine Noble, heartfelt thanks for your unfailing Clichut's enthusiasm. Enough for today. I'm going to make dinner. Anyone wants to help, Leela cuts in, sending glances my way. I'll help. Noriko answers quickly. I'm about to answer to when I hear Nate clear his throat. Not now. Not now. Not now. Now. Now, it'd be nice if you were on my side once in a while. Can we talk, he asks, running his hand over the back of his head. Sure. I shrug, waiting for him to continue. Outside he is fine. I grumble. Outside. I roll my eyes and clench my teeth. Wait a minute. I answer, raising my hands. I close my coat tightly around me and go look for a cap, a scarf and gloves. Would you like sunglasses? He rolls his eyes, exasperated. To my agent extraordinaire, Madeleine Noble, heartfelt thanks for your unfailing Clichut's enthusiasm. I reach in my bag to retrieve my glasses. To my agent extraordinaire, Madeleine Noble, heartfelt thanks for your unfailing Clichut's enthusiasm. I'm not ready for what's to come. You won't seduce him in that get-up. That's for sure. Don't you think you're overdoing it a little? He mumbles. You're the one who insists on talking outside. Not me. It's the middle of summer. I'm weak to the cold. He has rolled his eyes 5 times in the last 3 minutes. I wonder how many more times I can make him do it. We're standing in the center of the garden under the scrutiny of the blazing moon. There is nowhere for me to hide. Look. He starts avoiding my eyes again, his fingers scratching his growing beard. It makes him look older and more tired. I'm sorry about what happened before you left. You were being you. I shrug. I'll be old and grey before seeing any children. My wolf wails loudly in my head, and I can imagine it rolling around like a child. Watch it. Ah, I missed his mood swings. Are you actually Armand? I didn't know it. That it, of course not. Just stating the truth. I continue nonchalantly. I may have gone too far, but don't you think you overreacted a little too? He tries to put the blame on me. Enlighten me. I nod. I'm just saying. Any she-wolf would gladly agree in this situation. He states self-confidently. I laugh because there really isn't anything else I can think of at this moment. It takes me a minute to control my laughter before I talk. Are you seriously putting me on the same level as Corey and the lights? What's so different? You're all female. I don't know if you're spewing out nonsense just to piss me off or if you truly believe these misogynistic views. But more importantly, they don't have any aspirations in life other than giving birth to your pups in an attempt to gain some vain recognition. And you don't PUH, Lise. Why would I am smarter, stronger, and more beautiful? Let's not forget that. I list off my fingers one by one. I don't need a man to protect me. Sure, keep going. You're doing such a great work so far. Now you decide to crush his masculinity. Obviously that's the way to make him fall for you. My wolf groans desperate. A wolf alone isn't stronger than a pack. He argues. What a bet. For the love of the sun, will you stop? You're digging a grave so deep we'll come out on the other side of the planet. I see with amusement his hands run wild in his hair. You are so frustrating. I can't have a normal conversation without you getting out of line. Every time you speak so disrespectfully, my wolf wants to murder you. Do you have any idea how difficult it is becoming to restrain it? An arrogant puppy inside the body of an arrogant man. I sigh dramatically, see. He exclaims, sending his arms flying in front of him. That's exactly what I'm talking about. Why do you keep pushing your luck? This has nothing to do with luck. I'm only stating the facts. I try to remain calm and composed when inside I'm jumping up and down the more angrier I can get him. By now his canines are elongated and his eyes so brightly yellow that I am reminded of a scorching sun. A beautiful beast. Hope. Stop before you regret it. His voice is a command and I feel the warning of the wolf laced within it. Do you want to see something amazing? I ask innocently, my head inclined a little to the side, and for a second he seems intrigued. When my smile transforms into a sweet murk, his entire body freezes and his face fills with panic. Don't, here doggy. I cut him and pat my side condescending. Oh my God, you didn't. My wolf cries incredulous. Every vein of my body is singing in exaltation. My heart beating faster. In an angry growl the man transforms in the white beast I saw twice before. His bones crack and realign. His features contort as he tries to stop it, only making the process more painful. His face morphs into one of a beast and his body covers itself with fur. His frame growing quickly, his arms and legs becoming strong paws. The wolf is beautiful beneath the rays of its moon, shining even more than its creator. In her stead I would feel a tremendous pride to have such a monster living to obey my every whims. Now that's a thought. Hey there. I say clearly in the stagnant silence without a trace of fear in my voice. That only makes the wolf angrier, and I can see Nate trying unfailing to take back control. The moon is high in the sky now. The tall tree in the back of the garden offers the shadows I desperately need. I take lazy steps in its direction and feel the beast ready to bounce. His fur ruffled on its back. I don't acknowledge it until I am finally in the tree's shadows. To my agent extraordinaire, Madeleine Noble. Heartfelt thanks for your unfailing patience, enthusiasm. Slowly, I take off my scarf and cap and let my hair fall loosely on my shoulders before taking off my gloves. Next I let my coat drop to the ground and finally I take my glasses off. The wolf starts to move again, wary of my every move. Ready for any attack. Its power is exuding from its entire body. Its snout curled. Its deadly fangs on display. We are facing each other, only a few meters away, and the wolf is at least 3 feet taller than me. It stretches even more to show me just how much of a difference there is between us. Big mistake, Manny. My smirk comes back and its menacing snarl reverberates in the night in warning. The alpha doesn't need to speak for me to understand its command. Kneel before I rip your head off. But you know me. I don't like to do what I'm told. See now. Last time you let me pet your head, so we have to try something else tonight. I explain. Its eyes flash green. Nate is gaining back control as the wolf is confused. Now we can't have that. You've got really soft fur, by the way. I keep going. I mean the color is a little meh. I lie dismissively with a grimace, but it's still okay. Don't worry. The wolf is back in front of me, angrier than ever. My body buzzing with its order to kneel and bow. Do you believe you're the strongest beast alive? I inquire, really curious now. I don't need a translator to catch its smirk. It's more like you can feel it. That it's embedded in your bones. Am I wrong? I wonder half for myself. The wolf gives me a puff of acknowledgement. Apparently it likes being praised just like its master. Prideful people. Like you're any different. But I am a goddess incarnate. Now that's not healthy for your ego. I continue. And it's dangerous. There is always someone stronger. Its love starts without warning, and it's the cutest thing in the world, but I can't lose focus right now. I have to make a point. You don't believe me, I ask softly, and it rolls its eyes. Want to see what real power is, I taunt it. The beast stretches again. Alert. Watching me. Are you sure of what you're doing? Don't worry. I won't transform. Buzzkill. Kneel. I say calmly, and it starts growling. I look it up straight in the eyes. Addressing it and mate at the same time. They both need to know that not everybody can fall under their control. I let my own power seep through my skin and my vision redness, coating everything in blood around me. Its fur seems even more bright. Kneel. I order so low it becomes a whisper to the wind, but my command is heard nonetheless. I see both man and beast fight against it for a second, their claws digging into the earth, their ears folding on the head in discontent, their white fangs ready to snap at my flesh. Finally I see the majestic beast kneel in front of me against its will, and look at the ground in complete surrender, and marvel at the sight. I sense my skin burn slowly. That's how things are supposed to be. I feel my lungs fill with pride and vanity. They are here to obey me. I feel my power course through my body. Everyone needs to kneel in front of me. I see the marvelous bloodied world around me. I'm royalty. I feel the fear of every creature hiding in the tree. I am a god. I sense the anger of the moon, taunting me. This is my world. Hope snap out of it. What? I blink out of my hypnotic state, blinking repeatedly at the beast still on the floor. To my agent extraordinaire, Madeleine Nilben, thoughts thanks for your unfailing patience, enthusiasm. I apologize and attempt to pat its head, but the wolf flinches. To my agent extraordinaire, Madeleine Nilben, thoughts thanks for your unfailing patience, enthusiasm. I reiterate. Can you turn back? I ask as gently as I can. You broke my alpha, my wolf howls. The beast disappears and the man is back in his without clothes glory in a deafening silence. 26. No more lies. Mate grits his teeth. I ogle him without restraint, and for the first time since I met him I see him become uncomfortable under my stare, shifting from one foot to the other. Don't move, he instructs before leaving the garden, giving me a wonderful sight of his butt. Back, I mean his back. He comes back in seconds with shorts on, so I try to diffuse the tension. How old are you? He starts without waiting. Phew, way to make a girl feel old. I told you already. I'm 25. Since when? I don't know. I shrug. For 2 or 3 years. Trimillenniums. My wolf coughs. Show me your eyes. I sigh and give up. My vision turns red. You're not a werewolf then. He concludes on his own. Of course I am. Don't lie to me. Werewolves had yellower eyes. Genetic mutation. Prove it. Turn into your wolf. Don't wanna. I wail like a 5-year-old. You know I'm a wolf. You can smell it. I try to convince him. You could tell Leela wasn't one. But your eyes are red. I know. I know. I chide him. How do you know the other alphas? I met them during a race or another gamble. How do you know the Kitsunes, the vampires? I met them during my travels. How did you win against Daki's powers? I got lucky. I shrug. Who are you? This feels like an interrogation. I grumble. Look, I can't explain everything to you. Why not? Because these are private matters. How do you want me to trust you that I don't know? I sigh, looking for a way to make him understand without giving him my true identity. You just have to. You can't expect me to blindly trust you without any proof. I have responsibilities. A pack to take care of. I can't put them in danger simply because I trusted you. Oh, no hope. My wolf interrupts my train of thoughts. With everything that's happening, we forgot the most important thing. What? The new season of got started again 2 days ago. Oh my god. I cry out and run quickly inside, forgetting everything else. I shout in a hurry. Leela, what is it? She comes out of the bathroom disheveled. a towel still in her hair. Where's your laptop? In my room. Did something happen? She follows me upstairs as I run. I can't believe I forgot. I whine. What did you forget? I reach the device and turn it on impatiently. Come on, I grumble. I enter the site's name as soon as the screen lights up. Ida looks over my shoulder intrigued and starts to frown when she understands what I'm doing. Don't tell me. No, tell me you're not serious right now. I don't listen to her and search frantically for the new episode. I click and click and click to load it up. You had me worried for this, she seethes. I ignore her even more as I go down to the kitchen to heat up a big bowl of popcorn. I'm not here. For the next hour I'm not here for anyone, I state matter of factly. Are you crazy? This is just a show, I gasp dumbfounded. Just a show? Do I have to remind you who wrote it? Who cares? It's still a show. You can watch it any time you want. But now's not the time. And be spoiled by the stupid humans who can't live without spoiling everything for others and their need to write down the emotions that they have and that we don't care about for everyone to see. No way in hell you're the first one to comment on what you see. Don't care. I can spoil them, but they can't spoil me. Yep. Martin Artson asks for my input for his books. Right, without me his show would have been a flop. Right. And Spielberg wouldn't have produced Jurassic Park and George Lucas' Star Wars without you. I sent a few tips here and there. Leela rolls her eyes. I also gave them the idea for Back to the Future, by the way. Actually, Jules Verne had the basic idea and I took care of the science. You a scientist? You mean you asked Einstein for his theories? Same thing. Now go away. I'm busy. You're crazy. She mumbles as she leaves my room. For the next hour, and a half I use myself in the wonderful world of kings and dragons. Of wars and treason. Let me tell you, when Jon Snow starts to, stop spoiling them. You don't know what you're missing. I decide to call it night and go to sleep because I have a feeling tomorrow will be a drag. And I dream some more of the time we rode on the back of dragons. The next morning I take my time getting ready. I eat a huge breakfast full of grease. I change my clothes 5 times. Never satisfied with the outcome. Read a chapter of the latest book on my nightstand, this since 1947, and go for a swim, just for the heck of it. At noon everyone is ready and impatient to get the meeting over. We are only 4 left. Xavier left last night, and then there were 3. My wolf jokes. Who's next? I'd say Leela. She won't leave again. I'm not so sure about that. I have a feeling there's something she's interested in California. I'm betting on Noriko. 5 weeks of chores. I'm not playing that game with you. You burn everything down every time. That's not cleaning. You do exactly the same. It's called renovating. Then 3 days in the Amazon forest. Deal. Leela contacted Pierre earlier, and they agreed to meet in a neutral territory. I make one last stop in my room to retrieve my bag and a sealed little box. The ride is short and leads us to a desolated barn near the shore outside of town. I can smell them before we step out of the car. At least 10 of them. They came in numbers. They don't trust us. Seems to be going around lately. I glance at Nate, who is keeping a safe distance from me since this morning. I hear 10 heartbeats. Noriko indicate. 3 men and 7 women. I smile, impressed by her precision. To my agent extraordinaire, Madeleine Noble. Heartfelt thanks for your unfailing patience, enthusiasm. It's 3 men, 6 women and a child. I smirk nonetheless. Whatever. She rolls her eyes. Why did they bring so many women? And Leela asks, frowning. Mere people are a little different. I explain. Men are mostly good at controlling the elements. Water especially. Whereas the women are better in close combat. Here on land the women are more useful. They cart for a big wave and expect any results in case of an attack. They all nod in understanding. Boy, they don't know anything about anything. Don't they ever read Try to Learn? Let's just say we had a lot of time in our hands to gather all this information. So what now? We'll get to see Sebastian and happily sing. Under the sea, make jokes. Actually, his name is Lionel and he's an octopus. I inform him. And a really good pianist. Noriko looks at me with bulging eyes and I'm satisfied with the effect my comment made. But no, we won't see him. He doesn't come on land. Then how did you witness it? Nate asks, doubtfully. You need to take a boat. I stop to listen in on the people inside the barn. To my agent extraordinaire, Madeleine Nilbe. Heartfelt thanks for your unfailing patience, enthusiasm. We should get inside. They're growing impatient. We all walk to the old wooden door. Cracks all over it letting us see inside. The mere people know we're here. Like many creatures, they possess acute senses. The king is sitting in the middle of the room on a chair of whale bones adorned with shells and algae, giving it a weird green color. The thing is hideous and coming out of nowhere. They always had bad taste. The two men are staying close to him as a last line of protection. The women are scattered around, but still information to attack at any moment. The little girl comes to us as soon as we step inside, holding a large piece of wood as if she was playing with it seconds ago. She walks with a little jump in her steps and an innocent face. Just as I expected it. Don't let it fool you. She is the most powerful in this room. Mere children are born with incommunicable strength. They are trained really early and capable of defeating merciless enemies in the blink of an eye. They are the commanders of wars. After a century or two they grow, and as they turn to adults their strength diminishes and their status changes. And then they give birth to the next generations. Always more powerful. Always more trained. Hello, she says in a soft voice, and the three idiots next to me smile at her, almost hypnotized by her angelic airs. I roll my eyes and clear my throat, trying to get this over with. She turns in my direction to send me a murderous glare. Unnoticed by the others. Smart little demon. My name is Marie. She continues. Bright teeth showing. Who are you? I'm Nate. The alpha of the Californian wolf pack, and these are my friends. The latter starts in a soothing voice. I choke and start to cough unceremoniously. They all look at me weirdly. Mr. Nate. I don't like this person. Marie whispers to him with teary eyes. He looks at me uncomfortably, almost asking me to leave. All right, I say loudly, clapping my hands together. We're not here to play after all, and especially not at my expense. The stagnant sea smell in the room is getting on my nerves. Let's get down to business. King Angus. I'm done waiting. I speak directly to him. I hear the sound of something breaking, and as I suspected, when I turn around, the wooden toy in Toya Maria's hands is snapped into very sharp pieces, currently aimed at my heart. Her frown is visible for everyone to see, and the tension in the room spreading. My smirk only grows. I can't help it. 2 chocolate boxes. She throws it at you in the next minute. 1 pair of heels from Louboutin. She waits until after the meet. 1 Saint Laurent coat. She makes you bleed. Not a chance she's a child. You're right. 2 coats. Oddly enough, Nate, Lilia and Noriko aren't looking at Marie as innocently as before. They each took a few steps back, away from her, and watch her moves suspiciously. As I was saying, I keep going, feigning to be annoyed by the unwanted interruption. We have other fish to fry. I add smartly. I am so ashamed to be seen with you. Watch your tongue, wolf. Marie hisses. All pretense gone. I see I'm coming at the right time. Pierre declares as he joins us in the barn, positioning himself between the both of us as a shield. I don't know which one he is trying to protect, though. He bows slightly to his king before addressing us all. The meeting between King Kingus Philippe Louis I, King of the Mere People, Emperor of the 7 Seas and Master of all their creatures, and Alphanate of the Wolf Pack of California, is now commencing. King Angus will listen to your offer and make his decision accordingly. He declares formally, and I only want one thing. To go back to bed. I never liked when people talked like that. Yada yada yada. Nate glares at me and I ignore him as I step forward. This is simple. To my agent extraordinaire, Madeleine Nilbe. Heartfelt thanks for your unfailing patience, enthusiasm. We want you to join our side and help us fight. You are going to agree. Ergo. Problem solved. Why should we help the people from the ground? Under raspy voice of someone who hasn't used his vocal cords in a long time. His skin is pale, which leads me to believe he hasn't been to the surface for even longer. I say, Latham, I say let them fight and kill each other off. Then we'll finally take back our rightful place on the ground. He concludes. Well, hold on. First of all, the ground isn't yours. Never was. Never will. Of course you can share it with us if you'd like, but that's that. I set the record straight. And secondly, you're the puppeteer of the seas because someone allowed you to. I remind him. Pierre coughs beside me as Angus turns greener by the minute. Sure, it's just a title. I agree, shrugging. This fight doesn't concern us. The king refuses stubbornly. Maybe it's time to elect another king. Well, I knew he was going to be difficult. My people never make things easy for anyone. I feel like being stubborn could work, but I'm not sure we can afford the time. And I'd avoid the headache. Win. I open my bag and take out the small box inside. It doesn't look like much. It's old and its design simple. But it's made of the bones of a dragon, which is why I chose it, seeing as it seals magic pretty well. I'll give you something you really want, and in exchange you'll lend us your warriors. This time it's his turn to smirk, and it's an ugly sight. Young lady, there is nothing in this world you could give me that I would be interested in. Well, I bet you're probably right. I shrug. Then I'll just keep it. Wait. Show it to me. He demands, intrigued as I am about to put the box back in my bag. No, you're right. It's nothing you could ever want. Just show it to me already. He grumbles. I open the lid slowly to reveal a small trident. Not bigger than my little finger. The power emanating from it, however, sends chills along my arms. It's been a while since I used it. Last time didn't end that well. And that's why we agreed to only use it once each century. Why do you have it? The king roars in rage as everyone freezes in the room. Stumbled upon it. I answer innocently. After all, Noe isn't the only one who can play that game. Thief. He cries out, his skin becoming translucent and his features contorting into hideous lines. He has nothing left of the beautiful mermaids that could lure sailors into the sea. Only the flesh-eating monster is left behind. Hey there. Hold on. I try to reason with him. I should have known this was a trap. He begins ranting. This was stolen from my great. My father told me the story his father told him. One his own father told him, and so on and so on. The story about the raven-haired demon who seduced the king of the sea and convinced him to show her the weapon that controls the 5 elements. The wicked devil stole it and disappeared into the night. Who seduced, who here? I simply took it because the brat in charge at the time was making waves 3 buildings tall right and left, and it was a pain. And you forgot to give it back. And I realized making big waves was fun, so I kept it. At least you're honest with yourself. Yida looks at me with a knowing look, perfectly aware that I'm more than capable of doing something along those lines. Look, I don't really care how you lost it. I'm offering to give it back. Now if you don't want it, I think I'll just keep it. I suggest. To my agent extraordinaire, Madeleine Noble, heartfelt thanks for your unfailing patience, enthusiasm. Angus growls. Yes, my lord. She smiles, ready to kill me. If you make one more step, I'll rip your throat out. And then I'll take care of your king. I warned her, showing sharp canines with my own smile. Let's just all calm down for a second. Pierre interjects. My lord, Hope is willing to give you the trident back. There is no need for blood to be shed. She needs to pay for stealing it in the first place. Angus refuses to see reason. Fine by me. She can't be the raven-haired demon. No wolf lives that long. To my agent extraordinaire, Madeleine Noble, heartfelt thanks for your unfailing patience, enthusiasm. The king mumbles, disappointed, and so is Murray. And so am I. Do you agree to lend us your warriors? I remind them the parts of the deal which seem to be forgotten or smartly avoided in all the chaos. Yes. He waves his hand dismissively, his gaze fixated on the trident. You won't mind signing a binding contract to this effect, sure? He agrees and signs the papers I give them in a haste. I don't push it and hand over the box without complaint. Aren't you forgetting something? What? I don't know. Maybe the fact that you broke it. That it doesn't really work anymore. Oh, that. Nah, I'm good. They'll just think he sucks at it. Alphanate. We will lend Yuku inferior beasts our hand in the coming war. Angus declares. That's it. I'm ending him. But never forget that we are not allies. You have persecuted us for far too long, and today we gained back our freedom. We will take back what is rightfully ours. Poor man. It's going to break his heart when he realizes it works just enough to boil some tea. My wolf sighs. Who cares? I do. He's ugly and unlucky. Nothing is going his way. You and your weird compassion. Well then, it was nice to meet you. We'll wait for you in California, Mate says in a diplomatic way before we excuse ourselves and leave. Marie and 2 other mare people accompany us outside, and she only needs a fraction of a second to throw herself at me with a wooden blade still in her hands. I bend to the side to avoid the hit and grab her ankle to bring her down on the grass and mobilizing her with a tight grip around her neck. I can feel Hila behind me, who took care of the other female, and where I look around I see Noriko bent over the male, who is quailing on the ground under the incessant electric shocks. I concentrate back on the commander as she struggles in vain to get out of my hold. Big mistake, Marie. I scold her. Did your daddy never tell you not to attack someone bigger than you? She glares at me but gives up her efforts. Now, I didn't miss your killing intent. You were definitely after my blood. So it would only be fair if I did the same. I decide. What would it be in our man? I egg your tongue. I smirk and she shivers. Hope that's enough. Neela speaks calmly. I look at her in surprise and see her worried eyes follow the frame of Nate's body. His eyes are relentlessly going from one color to the other, flickering briefly to yellow before going back to green, and a frown is etched on his face. What's going on, by the way? I just won a new pair of shoes. 27. The ride back to the villa is tense. Everyone is on edge. The enclosed tiny space of the car isn't the best place to share with Mate right now, but none of us dares to say anything about the alpha who is losing his she. Language young lady. Losing control over his wolf beside us. His eyes keep changing. His muscles are tense under his skin. His canines elongate more and more by the minute, and his whole body is shaking while he keeps crawling. I'm not the only one who wanted to offer we all walk back on our own. I mean, he would only be able to scratch me if he happened to turn and attack, but I'd rather avoid the pain. Theda keeps sending worried glances in the rearview mirror, her jaw tense while Noriko frantically plays with the handle of the car door, ready to flee at any given time. I try to play it cool and laid back for the first 5 minutes, but it seemed to aggravate Nate even further, so I made myself as invisible as possible. I really don't mind walking home. I'm not sure they would come out of it as unscathed as you would if things went wrong. My wolf reminds me for the 10th time. Fine. I'll just play dead. This is all your fault. For the 100th time, no it's not. I am not responsible every time someone is going through a life crisis. I'm still blaming you. And I'm blaming the fish I ate last night. Probably was a cousin of Marie's. Smelt fishy. I can vividly see my wolf roll its eyes in my mind. No one understands me. I don't care if you end up alone, misunderstood by all humanity for the rest of your life, but you have to fix this. I don't care what you do, but you better make him go back to how he was before. And what am I supposed to do? I mean, did you see him? He's a mess. The car hasn't fully stopped before we all jump out of it, and each flee in a different direction. I follow Nate to the beach down the path from the villa, making sure to stay a good yard behind. The creek is deserted, which is a good thing right now. Might have been a good idea to hang on to the trident a little longer. Don't need it to be awesome. I get rid of my shoes because I hate to have sand in my socks. The ground is hot under my feet and the sun blaring over the water, making it difficult to see what's in front of me. Stop finding excuses and go talk to him. With a long say, I walk to him. He jumps back when he notices me and holds his hands high to stop me. Stay back, he orders. I'm having a hard enough time as it is. I really don't need you to make things worse. Did you spread the word and decided to all be mean to me today? Thanks for the vote of confidence. I grumble. Stop talking. He grits his teeth, shutting his eyes and trying to ignore me. Something I dare say is impossible. How big is your ego? As big as yours? Why don't you try to explain what's going on? Maybe I can help you. No, you can't. What are you going to do then? I don't know, damn it. Do you want me to knock you out? I offer and he glares back at me. Not funny. Not trying to be. I just think if you can't control your wolf, things could get dangerous. You might hurt innocent bystanders. Who knows? Maybe a good night's sleep would calm it down. I'll be fine, he mumbled. Sure. I roll my eyes. Then what do you want me to do? I don't know. Why is your wolf so restless? Did you two have a fight now? Man, at this pace we'll still be here next week. Maybe he wants to run for a bit. There's a small forest not far from here. I don't think that's it. Can you be any more cryptic? I ask, annoyed. It doesn't really want to transform. Nate tries to explain. It's more like my wolf is undecided. It feels unbalanced. And I can't use my strength correctly. That's not good. Glad you think so too. He rolls his eyes and they shine yellow. I have a feeling that they still think the same in some ways. At least regarding their opinion of me. It must mean it's uncomfortable about something. Can't you hear what it's worried about you? He whispers, ashamed. Or so it has come to this. I had a feeling you'd ruin everything someday. Here we go again. Then, can I talk to it? It doesn't trust you. No kidding. I say, running my hands in my hair. Look. I start sitting down on the sand. I'll just sit like that. I promise I won't move. I offer it in a weaker position. His wolf should feel less threatened that way. Nate nods and takes off his shorts and I choke. I forgot about that part. He discards his shirt in the same way but keeps his boxer on, looking away. All war he's being shy. My wolf coos. Shush. He transforms even faster than the night before and I am once again face to face with the white wolf of the legends. Though this time I'm sitting and the beast is looking down on me on its guard. I look at the ground and show him the back of my neck in surrender, even though this goes against every fiber of my being. My skin burns right now from the act as if the sun is punishing me for it. Great. Now I'll get burned day and night. I never told you to go that far. My wolf barks. Get up. Right now. Still I don't move. I wait patiently for Nate's wolf to make the first move. I'm letting him decide. My wolf is growling in my ears and the sun is hot on my skin, but I wait. I sense the wolf getting closer and after a while I feel it sit in front of me. Slowly. I look up at it. It's observing me once more. I'm not here to harm you. Or your pack. I start and it blinks. I really want to help you. I explain. That's why I came on this trip. That's why I did all of this. It nods in understanding, but its proud posture seems to say something else. It feels like it's waiting for an apology or something. I won't apologize. I rebuke him and its snout curls up. You may not like it, but I'm not sorry for what I did. I won't do it again because I think you understood what I was trying to say. And I believe that from now on you'll be more careful. I'm not saying you're not strong, and I'm not saying that you can't, but you have to remember that you can always find stronger than you, and being too proud can kill you. The wolf brings its muzzle a few inches from my face and huffs in disapproval, making strands of my hair fly around. Also, in my opinion, your little sidekick is being a little too familiar with women. I expected better of an alpha. I don't want to win. I'm surprised when the wolf starts to laugh and nod and sits down more comfortably. Its eyes glow green for an instant and Nate glares at me but doesn't last long. You should be more strict with him. I go on, amused. It seems to listen intently to me in agreement. We stay like that for a while, listening to the waves, watching birds fly over it, around small fishing boats. I am lost in my thoughts, already planning the following weeks, the training sessions we'll have to organize, the different groups we'll have to coordinate, the headache of so many alpha hormones in the same room. When I focus back on the movements beside me, I find Nate shuffling around to get dressed in a hurry. I can't believe this. He mumbles. You're both making fun of me. We're not making fun of you. We're stating facts. I roll my eyes. You're right. He starts walking back to the house without waiting for me. Don't make a tantrum. I chide him. And don't start with me. To my agent extraordinaire, Madeline Nilben. Heartfelt thanks for your unfailing patience, enthusiasm. Come on. You have to agree that sometimes you behave like a chauvinistic caveman. He turns around to face me as we walk through the bay windows and into the living room. Anything else you want to throw at me, you're a womanizer. A pup in heat. I shrug. And you're a pain in my ass. You asked. I roll my eyes. I listen intently but don't hear heartbeats other than both of ours. The girls probably decided to eat out tonight to avoid any outburst. And they didn't invite me. The nerve. I walk to the fridge and make myself a scarce diner with what I can find. You're a smart ass. He continues. I don't recall asking for your opinion. I say, biting hard on some bread. You always want to be right. It's a fact that I, the almighty me, is always right. You're full of yourself. I am a queen. That's a given. I answer honestly and he rolls his eyes. You're whimsical. Are you listing my qualities? Do you see what you're doing right now? I never know what you'll do next. CW hinges. I put down my fork and look at him sternly. Can you guess what I'm about to do now? I question and he shakes his head. Without waiting for him to react, I extend my hand to the back of his neck and lift myself on the tip of my toes to close the distance between us. Pushing my lips against his, he instantly starts to kiss me back and my skin starts to buzz over. My ears ringing, my heart beating in delight. It's been far too long since the last time we were this close. I step a few inches away to take a breath. I didn't see that coming. He breathes out. Oh really? I smirk. I don't have the time to say any other witty comment before he crushes his mouth back on mine. His fingers sneak in my hair, bringing me ever closer. My body is a hot mess, craving to be touched more, as if I've been thirsty for weeks and someone finally gave me some water. With strong, powerful arms, Nate lifts me to sit onto the counter in front of him, making us level with each other. His movements are greedy as his hands wander anywhere they can, gliding along my forearms, sending burning sensations in their path, resting on my thighs, gripping at my hips to keep me in place. My fingers roam over his abs and chest and I can feel the strong beats of his heart as much as I can hear it. His lips leave mine to wander down my neck, sucking and licking everywhere they go. I let myself loose and the world becomes red. I hear him growl and when I look down his eyes are a bright yellow. So bright it's almost white. He claims my lips again and I can't seem to have enough of it. Dear Lord. I hear a small gasp behind me and jump out of my skin. Hilo and Noriko are standing in the entryway with takeouts in their hands, looking amused at the scene. I look down at myself to find that my shirt is higher than I remembered it to be and my hair is a mess. I'm also pretty sure my lips are swollen by now and my pupils dilated as much as Nate's are. He's having a hard time calming down, his chest heaving strongly with each breath he takes. We didn't know there was something going on. Lily apologized with a smirk so big I'm afraid it'll start to hurt. Of course she had to come back now. My wolf grumbles. I think I'm just going to go. Nate clears his throat awkwardly, abandoning me to the wolves. Well, in this case, to a coyote and a kitsune. Same thing really. I get down from the counter as gracefully as I can manage and rearrange my top to appear more decent than I feel right now. Sorry again, she says a second time while Noriko smiled to herself. No worries. I wave her off, still somehow out of breath. Is there any takeout left for me? There's enough for 5 people. Noriko answers. Just enough for me. Just enough for Hope. Lila and I say at the same time. You know me so well, I beam. So what were you two doing out for so long? I inquire as I start to gulp down the food. I got you 3 plane tickets for tomorrow morning. Lily informs me, trying to change the subject somehow. Oh, I say, surprised. So you're not coming with us? I feel like pouting. I kind of got used to having her around again. Her shiny moods. What are you talking about? She's a pain. I know you like her too. Absolutely not. Good riddance. Leela starts to smirk at me. Do you mean to say you'll miss me? Of course not. I deny. I just need a week or two to clear things up at the hospital. Make sure my patients are taken care of. I'll come join you after that. Okay then. I finish my food. All of it. No wasted food on my watch. I look at my fingers, trying to think of an excuse to flee the room. I'll see you all tomorrow morning before you guys leave then. She offers me a way out. Sure. And I'll wait for you in 2 weeks. Sounds good. She nods. I go to my room as fast as I can and stay there for the remainder of the night. getting a good night's sleep. I try not to look back at the villa when we leave and get in the car. I know I'll come back someday, so it doesn't hurt as much as before, and I guess it's a good thing. I even packed a few photos of Liam last night when I was doing my bags. I also readied a few souvenirs for the kids that I was able to gather during the trip. I can't wait to see Jared's face when he'll see his. All in all, I have 3 enormous suitcases, full, which earned me a few concerned looks from Noriko and a weird smile from Nate. It's actually getting on my nerves. I managed to stay quiet for almost half an hour, but I'm at my wits' ends here. What? I bite out more angrily than I intended. Nothing. He smiles, further looking away. Come on. Out with it. I don't like that smug smile of yours. Do you intend to move in or something? He finally asks. Yes, no. I answer immediately without pause, and his face falls. His smile disappearing faster than it appeared. Take that back right now. I just packed clothes for my next trip when all this is over. I heard there are some races scheduled in Atlanta in the next months. I shrug and see his jaw clench. Had a few weapons of my own. How do you expect them to get through customs? Nothing a few bucks can't handle. We finally reached Paris airport by lunch. The private flight that brought us there was fast and nice. Cool, we're all on the same row and I have the window seat. Noriko announces as we walk to the waiting area. But I ask, frowning, looking down at my ticket in detail for the first time since Leela handed it over last night. That little. There's no way we're flying economic in this day and age. There's bound to be babies wailing, old men snoring, women with a runny nose because of the air conditioning, and people down the row forcing you to get up every 5 seconds because they keep wanting to go to the toilet. Don't forget the ones who spend 10 minutes deciding what to choose between a sweet and a salty cookie. And there's no champagne. No lobster. You're right, we can't have that. Excuse me for a moment. I apologize to Nate and Noriko and leave them waiting in front of the waiting space for our flight. I send a quick message to Leela explaining her how she'll pay for this once she gets down to California. I make my way to the desks and am met with a young woman in her early 30s, irritability, chewing on some gum. I smile as sweetly as I can this early in the morning. I would like to exchange my ticket, please. I tell her, handing her my ticket, which indicates I have the seat in the middle. Sure thing, ma'am. What flight are you on? The one heading to Los Angeles at 2:30. I reply eagerly. She types on her computer for a while before answering me with a professional 5 stars smile. I'm sorry. This plane seems to be full. Maybe if you wait for the next one. I don't really have the time for that. Are you sure you don't have any more first-class seats available? I sigh, defeated, and she looks at me worriedly. Nan, I won't be able to offer you a discount. I'm afraid the prices aren't on the same scale. Don't worry about that. I wave her off. All right then. She nods and starts typing away once again. I finish the paperwork quickly and pay a fortune, but it's worth it. With another 40 minutes to spare, I go back to the others and we wait patiently. Where were you? Noriko inquires. Just looking for last-minute souvenirs I might have forgotten. I shrug. I can't wait to be there. I've never been to America before. Well, California is always hot and sunny. At least that's what people say. And we're going to Los Angeles. She smiles excitedly. That's where all the famous people live. We won't really have the time for sightseeing though. Nate informs her, and she deflates instantly. Suddenly she turns to me, unsure. Do you think they won't mind me being there? They are not that bad. 1 or 2 of them maybe, but the rest is okay. And if push comes to shove, just electrocute them. That'll put them in their place. To my agent extraordinaire, Madeleine Nilbang, heartfelt thanks for your unfailing patience, enthusiasm. There's this guy. Hope Nate stops me from elaborating further. What? I'll ask innocently. 1 electric shock, or it might be good for them. May I ask who they might be? Well, there's Gabe. I start counting on my fingers. Actually, never mind. I already took care of him before I left. You what? Nate chokes on his breath. Then there's Corey, obviously. I continue sending him a reproaching look. Hope, what did you do to Gabe? He repeats. And how come I never heard of it before now? Who's Corey? Noriko asks at the same moment, and I chose to answer her rather than our alpha friend. She's mate's mate. I state matter-of-factly. No, she's not. He denies instantly. Right. I heard about that. Wolves have mates. Noriko nods. She's not my mate. He insists. Do you have one then? A mate, I mean, she asks me. No, I don't. I reply and look away to avoid any more inquiry. To my agent extraordinaire, Madeleine Nilben, heartfelt thanks for your unfailing patience, enthusiasm. She smiled. All right, so there's Gabe. Corey, whom we don't know why, but you don't like. She threatened me with a knife. I remember the incident. And she's still alive. She whistles impressed. I'm surprised you didn't fry her on the spot. She jokes fry. Nate asks indignantly, and I send glares at Noriko for her slip of the tongue. To my agent extraordinaire, Madeleine Nilbe, heartfelt thanks for your unfailing patience, enthusiasm. Other than these two, and half the females there, I guess they are a pretty decent bunch. To my agent extraordinaire, Madeleine Nilben, heartfelt thanks for your unfailing patience, enthusiasm. That's my pack we're talking about. Nate says proudly. I think they are starting to let us in. I point at the queue forming in front of two stewards and stand to wait in line. There was a time people let you walk first. My wolf sighs in despair. I know, right? Things change so fast. We wait for our turn, and when we're finally led inside the gates and through the corridors, I turn left to join the front of the plane. What are you doing? Nate frowns. Our seats are that way. Sorry about that. I apologize, not sorry in the slightest. I changed seats. There's no way I would spend hours on end in the middle of a row. You could have asked. I would have changed with you. He replies disappointed. Don't be so sad. I'll be back in a few hours. And then I trot away to my caviar and champagne. To heaven. I have a blast eating and watching the latest movie, sighting in a comfortable bed with soft socks and a blanket. Noriko comes to visit me at some point. Nice. I never traveled in first class before. She eyes the remainder of my dessert. To my agent extraordinaire, Madeleine Nilben, heartfelt thanks for your unfailing patience, enthusiasm. I said, looking at my watch. There's still an hour left before we land. You can have my seat. Really, she beams. Thanks, yeah. Whatever. I roll my eyes and make my way to the back of the plane after she reminds me which row her seat is situated in. I find Nate grumbling, frowning at his phone. The woman beside him won't take her eyes off him and keeps sending him sultry glances and showing of her cleavage. The poor guy was left alone with a cougar. Do you mind if I have that seat? I ask politely. You can have the window. No, I think I'm good. She answers in an awfully thick American accent. Her eyes are still glued to his chest. Let's call her Gertrude, for all intent and purposes. That's a good name, or we could just throw her off the plane. What do you think? That's a good idea, isn't it? Let's trade. I tell her again in my kind of alpha voice. It has the same effects on people, they obey. What more would you want? The woman jerks away to the next seat a little unsettled. I sit in her stead. Man, this is uncomfortable. So little space. So many people. So much noise. And no screen to watch a movie. I try to make myself more comfortable, but there's no way to it, so I give up. You should go back to your first class seat. Nate's eyes beside his eyes closed, and the woman on my other side seems to agree with him. I thought you might get lonely. I answer with a smile, looking a few rows ahead as two kids are raucously fighting for a plastic doll while their parents both pretend to not see or hear anything. I'm fine. I think I'm getting used to it. Used to what? I asked, puzzled. You leaving or intending to leave every 5 minutes? To my agent extraordinaire, Madeleine Nilben, heartfelt thanks for your unfailing patience, enthusiasm. That hurt. That's amazing how I'm still here, though. I answer irritated. That's what I can't figure out. He goes on, finally looking my way, his fingers playing in his hair, pulling at the back. I'm almost sure Gertrude isn't missing any of his movements. Neither is the young woman to rows down on the aisle seat. What? I try to stay on track. Why, you're still here. His emerald eyes look into mine, unwavering. searching for answers. I told you, I'm here to help, which I don't get. I just think that what's happening isn't right. And I don't want anything to happen to Jordan and little ones, or even Jared for that matter. What about me? Then you can take care of yourself. But you won't stay for me. Let's be clear here. You're the one who said that it could never be anything serious. I know what I said. You still came on to me. Oh, because you didn't try to kiss me at least 10 times since we met. You're the one who tries to kiss me every time I move. He growls back. Gosh, this sounds like a lover's quarrel. No, it doesn't. You can't keep your hands off me. I counterattack. Woman, you're making me crazy. And you know how this works. I don't have a choice. In the end, when I find her, whether I like it or not, I'll be hers and she'll be mine. I know that. Then you know I can't promise you anything. Sure you can. Promise her the moon, darling. I know. And it's the same for you, he says, clenching his teeth. Once you find him, that won't happen. I cut him off. Of course you will. Nate rolls his eyes. Let's agree to disagree on that one, shall we? So you're saying you're going to spend the rest of your life alone? Of course not, since she has you. Are you done with the subtitles already? Something like that. That's ridiculous. The moon isn't one to let her child alone. And I'm not. I stop myself. Hold on a second. I know what you're trying to do. They're smart pants. I won't give you any information just like that. What are you talking about? He frowns. Nothing. Lo, we're landing. I changed the subject.